You see them, lurking, watching, clicking. They think they're hidden, tucked behind fake accounts and silent views, but their energy betrays them every time. They linger too long, refresh too often, return too quickly. You post a thought, a glimpse of your world, and within seconds, they're there. Again, they don't just watch, they study, tracking your wins, searching for weakness, replaying your words, hoping to find cracks where they can slip through. But what they don't realize is that their obsession has already sealed their fate, because they can't stop. They need to see how you keep rising, how you keep moving, how nothing they've done has been enough to shake you. Every attempt to distort your energy, to pull you into their chaos, has failed, and that failure eats away at them. So they watch, hoping the next post will give them an answer, hoping they'll catch you slipping, hoping to find something, anything, that explains why you remain untouchable while they spiral deeper into their own destruction. They don't understand that it's not just what you post, it's what you don't say. The silence between your words, the power in your presence. They refresh the page looking for a sign, an opening, a moment where they can insert themselves into your reality. But you never give them one. Their obsession is a one-sided war, a battle they created, a mission they assigned themselves. And the more they try to infiltrate your world, the more the walls close in on them. Their digital footprints are everywhere, ghost trails of their desperation. They think they are collecting information on you, but all they are doing is exposing themselves. You've seen it, the way they shift when you do, the way their words start to sound like echoes of yours, the way they adjust their style, their tone, their entire existence, hoping to reflect you back at yourself. They think you don't notice, but you do. They watch, they mimic, they try to mold themselves into your image, convinced that if they copy your rhythm, they will unlock what makes you different. They are wrong. Your essence is not a costume they can wear. Your energy is not a formula they can crack. They can repeat your words, but they will never understand the weight behind them. They can copy your movements, but they will never feel the force that drives them. They can try to become you, but every attempt only makes them look more like an empty shell. They thought it would be easy, just mirror, just mimic, just reflect. But they didn't realize the cost. Because while they spend all their time watching you, adjusting to you, stealing from you, they are losing themselves. You keep evolving, keep shifting, keep rising, keep becoming something they will never catch up to. They are trapped in a loop, stuck in a game they created, chasing an identity they will never claim. Because you are not just a person to copy, you are an original soul, and they will never be anything more than your shadow. You notice the patterns, the way they always seem to be there, the way their presence feels less like a coincidence and more like a script they've been rehearsing. They think they're subtle. They aren't. Every accidental run-in is too convenient. Every random encounter is too deliberate. They show up in places they never cared about before, places they know you exist. And when they speak, it's rehearsed, calculated. Their words aren't organic. They are lines in a script, carefully constructed to place themselves in your reality. But you feel it, that unnatural weight behind their interactions, the desperation in their energy, the forced familiarity in their tone. They think they're weaving a web around you, but the only ones caught in it are them. You don't have to expose them, you don't have to confront them, because their obsession is loud and people are starting to notice. At first they dismissed it, but then the patterns became impossible to ignore. Why do they always bring you up? Why do their eyes always follow you? Why does their energy shift when you enter the room? They can't help themselves. They thought they were the ones watching you, but in reality everyone is watching them. Their karmic patterns are on full display, transparent, predictable, exhausting. Their desire to control the narrative has become their downfall. And the worst part? You don't even acknowledge them. Your existence alone is enough to unravel them. They built their world around your movements, your words, your presence. And now, as their obsession bleeds through the cracks, they are left standing in their own self-created chaos. Their every move exposes them. Their every action confirms what you've always known. You don't have to say a word. They have already told on themselves. They think they're in control. They strategize, scheme, set the stage for their next move, convinced that this time they will succeed. And then, everything falls apart. The meeting they planned, canceled. The event they accidentally hoped to bump into you at, rescheduled. The text they were about to send, never goes through. They don't understand it. No matter how carefully they set their traps, something always goes wrong. They leave early yet somehow arrive late. They call but the signal drops. They hit refresh but your page won't load. It's maddening. You don't even notice. You're too busy living, thriving, moving in your own rhythm, untouched. They were never a factor in your plans, but they built their entire existence around you. And now, they are realizing something terrifying. They can't reach you. Not physically, not digitally, not spiritually. Something always stops them. Because you were never meant to be touched by them. Divine interference stands between you and their intentions, severing every thread they try to weave into your world. You are protected in ways they will never comprehend. They try to step forward, but an invisible force pushes them back. They try to invade your space, but life itself shuts the door in their face. They don't see the hands at work, the unseen forces rearranging reality to keep them at a distance. But they feel it, and it drives them insane. They used to believe in power, their ability to control, to manipulate, to bend situations to their will. But nothing works anymore. Everything they throw at you returns to them. Every plan crumbles in their hands. Every attempt to interfere ends in failure. You continue as if they don't even exist, because in your world they never did. And now let us take a brief moment to honor the chosen among us. Here's to the ones who see the world differently. The silent guardians, the watchful souls, always awake, always vigilant. They don't fit the mold and they wouldn't have it any other way. While others walk familiar paths, they forge their own, fighting unseen battles, illuminating the shadows. It's not for everyone, and that's okay. But if you feel it, deep within, you'll know this is meant for you. No masks, no pretense, just truth. The Obsidian Inner Order is here, a place where kindred spirits gather to share wisdom, to connect, to transform. Over 450 strong, united not by conformity but by purpose. If you're ready, you know where to find us. The link is in the description. If not, that's perfectly fine, because we're always here, watching over, making a difference in ways unseen. Here's to those who walk their own path, not for recognition but because it's who they are. Here's to you, thank you. They thought they were the hunters, thought they could pull the strings, manipulate the energy, force their way into your world and take control. But look at them now, trapped. Not by you, not by anything you've done, by their own obsession. Every time they chase you, they lose a piece of themselves. Every attempt to invade your space carves another debt into their karmic record, chaining them tighter to a fate they can no longer escape. They started with confidence, believing they held the upper hand, that you wouldn't see them coming, that they could pull you into their chaos and keep you there. But they didn't realize, you don't play their games. You never have. You walk in a different reality governed by forces beyond their reach. Every time they step closer, the weight of their own desperation drags them further down. They thought they could bend your will, but they are the ones bending. They thought they could break you, but they are the ones crumbling. And the worst part? They can't stop. It doesn't matter how many times they fail, how many times their plans backfire, how many times they humiliate themselves trying to force their way into your existence. They still chase, because at this point, they have no other identity. You were supposed to be the target. Now you are the only thing keeping them going. Their entire world has become centered around you, tracking you, copying you, obsessing over you, trying to stop you from rising. But every move they make only accelerates their downfall. Their desperation is visible now. People can see it in their eyes, in their restless energy, in the way they bring up your name even when no one asked. They can't focus, can't rest, can't breathe without wondering what you're doing, where you are, what's coming next for you. They were the ones trying to control you. Now they are the ones being controlled by their own fear, their own jealousy, their own endless cycle of failure. What started as a game has become a prison, not one you built for them, one they built for themselves. They've tried everything. They watched you from the shadows, lurked behind fake names, tracked your every move like a predator convinced it could corner its prey. They thought if they studied you long enough, if they pried deep enough, they'd find the flaw, the weakness, the pressure point that would finally shatter you. But you never cracked, you never bent, you never even acknowledged them, and now they are losing their minds. They poured their energy into controlling you, into pulling the strings behind the scenes, into orchestrating setbacks that were supposed to make you crumble. But the only thing that crumbled was their illusion of power. They hacked, stalked, manipulated, but you kept rising. And with every rise, with every new level you reached, something inside them snapped a little more. Because the truth was undeniable now. They wasted their time. They wasted their energy. They wasted their own destiny trying to break someone unbreakable. And that realization is unbearable. Because while they spent their days fixated on you, your path remained untouched. Every attempt to slow you down only made you move faster. Every plan they set against you collapsed in their own hands. Every moment they spent obsessed with your downfall only fueled your ascension. They feel it now. That sinking, suffocating weight in their chest. That hollow ache of knowing they gave their power away, poured their life force into a battle they never had the strength to win. You didn't even fight back. You never needed to. Their obsession was always a war against themselves. And now, they are the only ones bleeding. They thought they were the ones watching you, tracking, monitoring, studying your every move like a scientist dissecting an anomaly. They wanted to understand you, control you, reduce you to something they could predict, something they could manipulate. But something happened that they never saw coming. You never played the game. You never chased them, never called them out, never fed into their obsession. You moved in silence, continued rising, untouched by their desperate attempts to stay in your orbit. And without lifting a finger, you did the one thing they feared the most. You exposed them, not through confrontation, not through retaliation, but simply by being who you are. Their carefully crafted personas, the fake identities they wore like armor, the lies they told to keep their power, all of it started to unravel. People started noticing. At first it was subtle, side glances, raised eyebrows, a quiet awareness creeping into conversations. But then, the questions started. Why do they bring you up so much? Why do they seem to know everything about you? Why are they always watching? Their obsession, once hidden behind shadows, is now on full display. They wanted to keep you under surveillance. Now they are the ones being watched. Every whisper, every fake interaction, every attempt to keep tabs on you is now being scrutinized. The same people who once believed them without question are now seeing the cracks, the desperation, the unsettling fixation they have on you. They thought they were in control, thought they had power over you. They are the ones losing control. The harder they try to hide it, the more obvious it becomes. Their carefully curated masks are slipping. Their narratives are falling apart. You don't even have to do anything, because the truth has a way of revealing itself. And now, everyone can see exactly who they are. They tried to block it, tried to delay, sabotage, intercept what was never meant for them. They pulled strings, whispered in ears, wove illusions to convince themselves they had the power to take what belongs to you. But inheritance doesn't work like that. You don't chase what is already yours. And now everything they tried to steal is returning to its rightful owner. Money, power, recognition, divine opportunities that were written into your destiny long before they even knew your name. The doors they tried to shut in your face, now opening on their own. The resources they hoarded, hoping to keep you beneath them, now slipping through their fingers. The influence they built by stepping on your name, now crumbling beneath their feet. They thought they could rewrite fate. They thought they could claim what was never theirs to hold. But all they did was speed up their own downfall. Because while they were busy obsessing over you, chasing shadows, burning themselves out trying to block your rise, they neglected their own path. And now, they are empty-handed, watching you step into everything they tried to deny you, watching you receive what was always meant to be yours, with ease, with grace, with the kind of divine favor they could never counterfeit. They see it now. They were never meant to win against you, because your wealth is not just financial. It is spiritual, energetic, generational, a force so much greater than they could ever comprehend. They spent their time chasing, scheming, manipulating, and for what? To be left with nothing, while you, without force, without effort, without ever needing to stoop to their level, walk straight into your birthright. Look at them, drained, unstable, unraveling. They thought they had time, thought they could play their little games forever, hiding behind illusions, pulling strings, watching from the shadows. But time was never on their side. They wasted it chasing you, and now it's catching up with them. The same energy they used to stalk, plot, and interfere is now devouring them from the inside. Their minds race, restless and frantic, searching for a way to stop what they know is coming. But there is no stopping it, because what they feared the most has already happened. Your success is inevitable. While they look exhausted, you look light. While they spiral in paranoia, you move with ease. While they scramble for control, you stand unshaken. They don't understand how you do it, how you remain untouched after everything they've thrown at you, how you continue to rise while they collapse under their own weight. But the truth is simple. You never needed to fight them. You never had to lower yourself to their level. You never had to return the energy they sent your way, because their downfall was always built into their own obsession. and now it's too late for them. Every attempt to slow you down only drained their own spirit. Every trap they set only trapped them deeper. Every moment they spent focused on you was time stolen from their own destiny. And now they have nothing left. No power, no control, no way to undo the destruction they brought upon themselves. Meanwhile, you keep rising, not because you tried to win, but because you were never meant to lose. They thought they were untouchable, thought they could stalk, interfere, manipulate without consequence. Thought their obsession would lead to your downfall. Instead, it led to theirs. Karma doesn't forget, and now it moves swiftly, reclaiming every ounce of energy they sent your way. The paranoia they tried to plant in you, now their own mind is eating them alive. The roadblocks they placed in your path, now their own lives are falling apart. You don't have to lift a finger. They are collapsing under the weight of their own actions. Their plans backfired. Their influence crumbled. The power they once held over others, gone. You remain untouched. While they retreat into the shadows, drowning in the chaos they created, you walk forward, clear, free, unbothered. This was never your battle to fight. They did this to themselves. They tried to contain what was never meant to be controlled. They studied you, mimicked you, obsessed over you, convinced that if they watched closely enough they could siphon your essence, rewrite their fate, claim what was never theirs to hold. But energy doesn't bend to desperation. Power doesn't submit to imitation. You were never theirs to understand. Your presence was never meant for their consumption. They mistook their access to you as ownership, mistook their fixation as a strategy, never realizing they were fueling their own collapse. Now their energy dwindles, their influence fades, their presence dissolves into nothingness. They wanted to control you, but instead you became their undoing. Without effort, without retaliation, without stepping outside your own path, you shattered their illusions. You exposed their desperation simply by continuing to exist. And while they unravel, lost in the chaos of their own creation, you ascend. Let them watch. Let them whisper. Let them drown in the weight of their own obsession. Your presence alone is the reckoning. How have you noticed people trying to track, imitate, or manipulate your energy? Share your experience below. Let's talk.